Hello everyone. Uh, this is going to be the second part of the faction focus uh, videos. I made one last week, I think. It's, it's summer now. I gotta get in the habit of staying on top of these things, which I'm assuming if you look at the length of the video, I apologize if it's very long. I have no idea how long this is going to take. But I'm just going to try and knock everything out in this video. Just try and bear with it if you can. I apologize once again. But I'm going to start off on the Space Marines faction focus. They have one of the new detachments is Fulgur's Task Force. Their detachment rule is Sky Strike. This is for like the new land speeders. The Land Spear, Storm Spear, Hail Strike, Storm Spear, Hammer Strike, and Thunder Strike. They have the Speeder keyword, which means they can make an ingress move during your first movement phase, which is pretty good. It's pretty good if you want to kind of like a fast army, like if you're trying to be thematic with like White Scars or something of the such. It's just this detachment is very clearly made for the new builds for the Speeder. Their enhancement is Bellicose Weapon Spirits. They can re-roll damage rolls and rolls to determine the attack of a weapon. So if you have like attacks an attack value of d6, if you get like a 1, you can re-roll that. And damage rolls, you can re-roll damage rolls. But their stratagem is reactive evasion, only for 1 command point. During your opponent's movement phase, when enemy ends a unit within 8 inches of a unengaged speeder, you can make a normal move of d3 plus 3. So this is a reactive move, duh. It's just kind of like a get out of there kind of thing. It's pretty simple. Librarius Conclave. I thought they made this a while ago, but that's fine. I will talk about the new psychic stuff. I'm gonna do this is a little bit off topic before I continue, but I'm gonna also talk about some of the new 11th edition core rules stuff, just because that's also new. I want to catch up on stuff, so I don't have to make like 3 to 5 different videos talking about different things that could all just be put into one long video, and you could watch like the first half, take a break, watch the second half the next day or something. So I will do that. Librarius Conclave. Start of each battle round, select one of these disciplines essentially down here for any psyker you have in your Space Marine army. You can either have +2 movement, you can reroll hit rolls of 1 and wound rolls of 1. You can increase your AP by 1 as long as the enemy is within 12 inches. You can make ranged attacks towards you have less strength, -1 strength. And you can use one that ignores ballistic skills, weapon skills, and hit roll modifiers. So that's pretty good. So like if you have anti-infantry 2 up, I think that would technically count as a modifier for that. But either way, their enhancement, temporal corridor, for psychers only. At the end of your opponent's fight phase, you can place this into strategic reserves. They've taken the telekinesis discipline ability. They have deep strike. So it's kind of nudging you to take this one, which it's good. -1 strength to range attacks against you is pretty good. But just like if you want to play with one of the other ones, then, I mean, it's at the start of each battle round. It's basically the Codex doctrines you can just take. But anyways, subversion assets. Their detachment is nowhere to hide. This is Phobos and Scouts. So this is kind of stealthy stuff. Uh, okay, in your shooting phase unit, you can select a visible enemy within 12. That's detected. When it's detected, it has +3 detection range. That's like it's talking about the hidden rule that's in 11th now. You're hidden if you're like 15 inches away from any model, any enemy model, and you haven't shot yet. So this is essentially if it's within 12, you can see them better. Strike from the shadows. This would go well with like a Raven Guard army if you want to do that. I know they have Shadowmark Talon. This might go well with that kind of thing, but we'll just have to see. One command point. You can choose one of the Phobos or Scout squads in your army that's shot, and they do not prevent your unit from being hidden. So I talked about that just like a minute ago. If you shoot, hidden goes away. If you use this, it does not. Their enhancement is a model. They get lone op and stealth. Very simple. Nothing too much about it, which you can read what these do, but these have been in the game for a while. They're not new. For the Black Templar specifically, they have Living Miracle. Theirs is Anointed Champion for the Emperor's Champion unit, of course. It can reroll hit rolls and wound rolls of 1. It's essentially because they don't have the Codex Astartes buff thing, or whatever it's called. I should know this. I play Ultramarines, oh my god. Uh, Oath of Moment. They do not have Oath of Moment. This is essentially their Oath of Moment. Yeah, so if you're using this, I think technically you can use the allied help rule, I think it's called. It's like if you're playing Space Marines, you can technically also take Inquisition models with that, but they have like a different points set and whatever. I'm pretty sure normally with Black Templars you can put anything that has a Adeptus Astartes in it, but if you're using Anointed Champion, you cannot. That is a very long enhancement. Hold on. Guided Omens, the Emperor's Champion. Start of the battle round, you can select 3 abilities, and it has that until the end of the battle. Instrument of the God Emperor, once per battle, per army. Let's select to fight. It's engaged with an enemy character. It has dev wounds. Okay, so it's like if you took precision, but kind of stuck dev wounds onto it. That's essentially what it's doing. Pretty simple. Foresee the path of the unholy. You have -3 detection range. So, saying if I'm correct about it, if it's 15 inches for being hidden, this would bring up to 18. Vision of momentous brutality. You get 2 attacks, 2 extra melee attacks. Nothing crazy. Augury of Retribution. Melee attacks that target this unit have hazardous. That's pretty good though, because if you're taking like say you have assault intercessors running at your Emperor's Champion. They have chain swords. Every attack they're making with that is hazardous. So even if they do kill that, a couple of them are practically guaranteed to die, essentially, unless you're re-rolling the hazardous rolls, then. But that's pretty good. I didn't expect to see that. I'm going to Sacred Intervention. We target this with the Heroic Intervention Stratagem. It is -1 command point to use. So it's basically doing what the captain does. It gives you a stratagem for cheaper. Harbinger of Judgment. When an enemy unit that is a monster vehicle is engaged with this model and selected to make a fallback move on a d6 on a 2-up, they suffer d6 mortal wounds. So if you are trying to make it's like okay, there's the desperate escape rule. If you're battle shocked, you make a fallback, you do desperate escape. Essentially, on this, that is always active if you're in combat with the Emperor's Champion, unless you're a monster vehicle. But you're almost always getting hit because that is a 2-up. And like, sure, it may only be one mortal wound, but that's still one mortal wound you would not have taken. Because the whole point of fallback is to get out of combat to take less damage. But for the Blood Angels, we have Wrath of the Doomed, a Death Company kind of themed one. We have Fanatical Celerity. I think that's how you pronounce it. When one of your Death Company units is selected to make an advance move, if you do, that unit suffers D3 plus 1 mortal wounds. Wait, what? That move does not prevent that unit from being eligible to declare a charge. They get the Doomed tag, and it cannot be taken with another Doomed detachment. Isn't that just bad? Hold on. Alright, Death Company model only. When you target this with the Heroic Intervention, you get -1. It's less command points. What? And they just have the new Heroic Intervention. Okay. Heroic Intervention has two different ways now. You have Leap to Defend, which is the standard one. Into the Fray, though, is always a 6 on like an advance, but it's going to cost you 1 extra. But it's only 1 if you're taking the enhancement. Rage fueled response. So they have 2. When your opponent shooting phase, when they've targeted one of your Death Company units that is shot, they can make a surge move of D6. Okay. So the way this one is working is you're taking damage when you're advancing and charging, but advancing and charging is cheaper in just moving in general. To get into melee combat is cheaper. Okay. Yeah. It's just, I don't see a lot of people play Death Company when they do Blood Angels. If they do, they only have like 1 unit of Death Company Marines, not like a whole army focused on that. But every detachment has their own scenario they're good in. Dark Angels have Dark Age Arsenal with Invocations of Ancient Fury. Any weapons you have that have plasma in the name, or plasma weapon profiles, they have +1 strength. That's pretty good, because I think the not Death Watch team, what is it? The Deathwing team, Deathwing Terminators, one of them can take the macro plasma cannon. Or it might just be plasma cannon. Either way, it's really good. I could technically take this too. I have Hellblasters. I only have 1 squad of them though, so it'd probably be a waste. I could just use a regular one of the old detachments, but it still has its uses. But yeah, it has to only be Dark Angels. So if I wanted to do this, I couldn't use like Gilliman, who is my only Ultramarine specific character. Their enhancement and petition of stability. Plasma attacks have +6 range. Pretty nice. Nothing special to it. It just does what it does. No sacrifice too great. In your shooting phase, when one selected to shoot, your hazardous plasma shots have +1 strength, which is good because I think they already have an extra strength when you're using the hazardous profile. So that gives you more of an incentive to use that, because it's only 1 command point. But next up we have Space Wolves. God, this is only just Space Marines. I have so many more to do. The Great Wolf Watches. One of your infantry units has the following ability: Countercharge. Once per battle round. Per unit, you can use Heroic Intervention regardless of any other times it's been used that phase. So this negates the stratagem stacking thing that 11th is bringing in, which I assumed they would have some ways to kind of negate that, which is good. because I don't want everyone to just be stuck in the perpetual cycle of only being able to use one strat like every round. That's kind of boring. But anyways, does not prevent the use of that stratagem on other. Yep. Okay. You just get. There's a lot of heroic intervention going around in Space Marines, which is fine. It's a fine stratagem, especially now that it has like the changed profile to it. But their enhancement is giant amongst giants. When your infantry has +2 wounds and their melee has +1 strength. So if you just want to kind of buff up one of your models just to make sure they aren't going down anytime soon, have that one be like the designated like objective setter, then good on that. I don't know if it'll be worth it, but their stratagem is Stalk Between Worlds. Your opponent's shooting phase, when they target one of your infantry characters, you have stealth instead. So for 1 command point, if you're being targeted, you can have stealth. So it's pretty neat. Oh, I got through them all. Nice. It only took me 16 minutes. But that's the biggest one done right now. Next up is Imperial Guard. They have Abhuman Auxiliaries. This is for your Bulgrins and Ogrins, Ratlings, anything that isn't just a normal human. Commissar unit. Your Commissar model can have Take Aim. Can use the Take Aim order and order a friendly Abhuman unit. I'm not too sure how like the commands and stuff work for Imperial Guard, other than like move, move, move. I know what that one does, but that's if you're a guard player, you'll know what this means. Exemplary of Duty. Commissar has a Feel No Pain 4-up. Wonderful. That's pretty good, especially with the new Kane model coming. Caiaphas Kane. Low profile for 1 command point. Your Ratlings have the same thing as one of the Space Marine ones. If you shoot and you're hidden, that doesn't stop you from being hidden. I think 1 detachment in almost every army has this. I could be wrong though, but I've seen them in like 3 so far. Bridgehead Strike. If a friendly Militarum Tempest officer is your warlord, Tempest Scions have the battle line keyword and +1 objective control. It's pretty good. That forces you to take the Tempestus officer as your warlord, which, depending on which mission deck, that's what it's called. I was pulling a blank. I had to search it up. But if you have that and you get your opponent pulls like the Kill the Warlord one, I don't remember what exactly it's called. It's not wonderful, but we'll move on from that. Oh wait, hold on. One of your friendly Militarum Tempest is selected to shoot, and then set up this turn. They have +1 to the hit roll. Great. Your Tempest officer can make an ingress move during your first movement phase. That's right. Firing Hot for 2 command points. During your shooting phase, Militarum Tempest or Casterkin, whenever they're selected to shoot. Your Hotshot las carbines, las guns, las pistols, marksman rifles, volley guns, sentry volley guns. If there's an enemy within 12 inches of that, it has 1 strength and AP. That's a lot of things, so a lot of your weapons are just going to have a good buff, but it's 2 command points, so it's a trade-off. Designation Force. A Scout Sentinel or Infantry Smoke units have Signal Flares, which is in your shooting phase, 1 visible unit within 12. You pick that unit. They have +3 detection range. The detachment has the recon tag and cannot be used with another recon detachment. The Scout Sentinel has infiltrators. Simple. It's a decent upgrade. Some smog screen for 1 command point. Start your opponent's shooting phase. 1 your infantry. If an attack is allocated to your unit, or a unit that is not fully visible to the attacking model because of one of our models, it has the benefit of cover. Okay, so if it's not fully visible, or there's like another model in front of it that's kind of blocking it, they get benefit of cover. Tyranids. They have ambush predators. Mind Hunger gives Death Leaper, Lictor, Near Lictors Deep Strike, which is pretty dangerous for those, considering those are big character killers. But Lictor, Near Lictors can target character. They can reroll hit rolls of 1. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. All right. Circling Horror, the Near Lictor, or Von Ryan's Leapers. I haven't seen anyone use those. Only those in your opponent's movement phase. When an enemy ends move within 8 inches of this unit, it can make a normal move of D3 plus 3. You're moving 4 to 6 inches, which is pretty good if you're trying to get into combat, which is always what you want to do with any of those 3. But they have counter predation for 1 command point in your fight phase. When a Death Leaper, Lictor, Near Lictor, or Von Ryan's Leapers is selected to fight that unit, your unit attacks that target, a hidden unit. Oh, if you attack a target that is hidden, you have +1 strength and AP. Well, that's pretty good. I wasn't exactly sure how that worked because you'd have to get up close unless you're using... Do they have a range profile? I don't think they have a range profile. Could be wrong, though. Talons of the Norn Queen. This is going to be your big hitters for, like, if you want to boost up your big monsters even more. The Emissary or Assimilator, they get once protein purpose. Once per battle, per unit. In your command phase, you can use this ability. If you do, you can make selection from the singular purpose ability. Wait, what? I'm assuming singular purpose is something that NIDs already have that I'm just not aware of. Because I don't really look into like the faction rules of each of them. I know about some of the basic stuff, like the Shadow and the Warp stuff that the NIDs can do, which is a whole pain in the ass. But deal with that what you will. I'm not too sure what that means. The Norn Emissary, your ranged attacks have anti-character 2 up. Wonderful. Nothing else to it. Catalytic biofortification for 1 command point. In any of your phases, when your Norn Assimilator suffers a mortal wound, you get Feel No Pain 4 up against mortal wounds, which is pretty nice. Warrior Bioform Onslaught. This will give people to actually bring these, a reason to bring these for once. Leader Beasts. When your warriors with bioweapons, any of your warriors, they get the Tyranid Warrior keyword and the Battle Line keyword. So, in pretty much any of the Tyranid Warrior or Tyranid Prime, they have a 5 up invuln save. Not terrible. Elevated Might. The Winged Tyranid Prime, or the one with the Lash Whip. That model's melee attacks can reroll wound rolls and have +1 AP. Alright. There's not a lot to say on these. This is just a very kind of like NIDS is a horde army most of the time. And if you're taking the primes, like they're good character killers. I'm pretty sure the Lash Whip is intended to be a character killer, but I don't know if they're going to give any of these like the new cleave keyword or anything with that. We'll just have to see if any of them get an updated data sheet. Alien physiology. In your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase, when your Tyranid warriors attack that target, your attacks that target your unit with a strength greater than your toughness have -1 to the wound roll. Alright. There's so many. Alright, they're expert fieldcraft. If your Pathfinder team or stealth battle suits shoot, it doesn't stop you from being hidden. There's a lot of these. They're the same thing over and over, basically. The Ghost Keel, the Pathfinder team, or stealth battle suits. When they shoot, you can select an enemy within 24 inches. That enemy has +9 detection range until the thing that is shooting it has been shot. Auto-reactive camouflage for 1 command point during your opponent's shooting phase. When you're targeted, when one of your Pathfinder teams or stealth battle suits is targeted, that is hidden. If it is hidden, it has a +1 armor save. Alright, auxiliary cadre. This looks like it's more for Kroot stuff. You have Kroot revest with sting wings. You have the following: hardened seed alien instincts. In your shooting phase, this unit can select one visible enemy within 12 inches. That's prey marked. Prey marked has +3 detection range. The Ghost Keel or the stealth battle suits have localized stealth protocols as an aura ability. When your Kroot revest with sting wings is within 6 inches of this unit, if it has shot, those attacks do not prevent it from being hidden. It has auxiliaries. You cannot take another detachment that has auxiliaries on it. Enhancement. The Kroot Shaper. In the battle formation step, you can set up 3 Kroot Carnivores or Forest Stalkers, and they have Deep Strike. Guided by Unity for 1 command point. In your shooting phase, when one of your Tau Empire units that is not a Kroot or Vespid select to shoot, if it is within 9 inches of a friendly Kroot or Vespid, it has lethal hits. Experimental prototype cadre. Battlesuit characters. The ranged attacks have +6 range to it. Has retaliation. You cannot take another retaliation detachment. The Supernova launcher. Battlesuit models only. During your formation step, select one of the model's air bursting fragmentation projectile or weapons, and it gets +3 strength, +1 AP, and +1 damage. Experimental ammunition for a command point during the shooting phase. When your battlesuit character shoots, it has +1 strength or +1 strength, armor penetration, and hazardous. Okay. So you can take the safer option, just more strength, or you can give it some armor penetration too, and you take hazardous. I think the better option of the two is probably the hazardous, because it's a battlesuit unit. You're probably not going to die from that anyways. Alright, orcs. Rolling Death, Thundering Wagons. A battle wagon, hunter rig, or kill rig have the wagon keyword. Wagon units can reroll charge rolls, and when it makes an advanced move, it can just make it a 6. You don't have to roll, it's just a 6. Has the wagons keyword, cannot be taken on their wagons attachment. Boarding ramps for wagon units only. When a unit is embarked within it, it makes a disembark. It has +1 to the charge roll until the end of the turn. Broadside for command point during your shooting phase. With if a battle wagon is shooting, your unit's range attacks that aren't made by weapons selected with firing deck have rapid fire, whatever your attacks amount are. So if you just want some more shots going out, one command point, not that big of a cost. Tactical Brigade for Storm Boys, they have the battle line keyword. When Boys Commandos Storm Boys makes an advance or fallback move, does not make them uneligible to start an action like Cleanse or Burn, or Plunder, which is one of the new ones. Slippery Git for an infantry war boss, excluding the mega armor models. It has infiltrators and stealth. So this is your purple orc stuff. Dead Sneaky for a command point at the end of your opponent's fight phase. When you're unengaged commandos or storm boys, you can stick them in strategic reserves. More DACA. Orcs infantry have the assault keyword. In your shooting phase, if you use the WA, orc infantry have sustained hits 1. Dead Chinese Shooters, orc infantry have rapid fire 1, or if they already have rapid fire 1, make it rapid fire 2. Or if somehow they have rapid fire 2, it's rapid fire 3, so on and so forth. For command point, during your opponent shooting phase, when an enemy unit is targeted, that is orcs infantry, they use snap shooting, but they can only target the enemy unit that's shot at them. Snap shooting. What is this? You can only target one visible enemy unit within 24 inches of your unit, and only if it's an eligible target. Each attack only hits on an unmodified hit roll of 6. Oh, it's the new Fire Overwatch. I forgot that. Yeah, I saw that they changed it somehow, but I didn't really look into it because honestly I could not care. I don't use Overwatch that often in my army anyways. World Eaters, Brazen Engines for your Corn Lord, or Demon Vehicle, which is probably going to be your Corn Lord Skulls. Terror Corn, start the fight phase. You can select one enemy unit engaged with this unit with your Demon Vehicle. The enemy has to make a battle shock roll with -1 to the battle shock roll. You cannot select the same unit to do that again more than once per phase. It has Onslaught tag, can't take another Onslaught detachment. Talons of Butchery. The Mauler Fiend Fists have Cleave 2. That's it. Cleave is just the melee blast. You can read it there if you want. Apocalyptic Clarity for a command point in the shooting phase at the start of the fight phase. Probably the fight phase because World Eaters. When your demon vehicles, it can ignore modifiers to ballistic skill, weapon skill, hit rolls, and wound rolls. Butchers of Corn, Adamantine Avalanche, start your fight phase. If it's finally Terminator Squad, units engaged. Do the Blessing of Corn roll, use the results to activate the blessing. Till end phase, Blessing of Corn is active for friendly Terminator Squad units in addition to any other Blessing of Corn that are currently active. So, this just gives you an additional Blessing of Corn more frequently. I'd say this is of the last one, and if there's another one here, I'm assuming this is probably the best one to take. Gorsane Vets, Terminator Squad units, their melee attacks have +1 wound skill, weapon skill. Fight phase for command point. When your Terminator squads, if it targets a monster vehicle, +1 to the wound roll. Pretty good. Vessels of Wrath. A World Leader's character that is an epic hero. I think Karn is the only epic hero, aside from Angron. So to fight, the character has Cleave 1 or AP or +1 AP. Arch Slaughterer, the World Leader's model, once per battle, per army, In your command phase, you can do every Blessing of Corn is active until the start of your next turn. Okay. For one command point, the fight phase, one of your friendly world leader characters as an epic hero, when they fight, they have +1 attack and +2 strength. Pretty good. Considering this is being paired with this, yeah. I think this one might be the best actually. CSM, the Cabal of Chaos, Empiric Wellspring in a shooting phase. When one of your Heretic Starty Psychers that is not a demon select to shoot, you can do Dark Pact roll and it gives you makes a Dark Pact. That unit's range attacks have +1 strength. In the fight phase, one of your Heretic Starty's Demon Prince, excluding Corn units, when they fight their Dark Pact, if that succeeds, they get +2 strength, +1 AP. Touched by the Warp, Heretic Starties aren't Corn, they have Psyker, and they have the Psychic keyword. This is actually not complete dog shit now, because new Psyker stuff. I'll talk about that later in the video, probably around the 1 hour mark, maybe? I don't know. For one command point, start your shooting phase. One of your Heretic Starry Psychers. They select one visible enemy within 12 inches. Roll 1d6 on a 1. It deals 1 more wound, 2 to 4. It suffers d3 more wounds on a 5 to 6. 2d3 more wounds. More wounds are afflicted by a psychic attack. So it has the psychic keyword when you deal the mortal wound damage. Devotees of Destruction, Reign of Ruin. I'm not sure why this one's bigger than the others, but anyways. Havocs and Obliterators, they have Heavy. I believe the new Heavy... Yes, the new Heavy is essentially the same, except you can move 3 inches instead of not having to move at all. That is amazing. Like, it may not seem like much, but being stuck down every single turn, not being able to move at all, was horrendous for heavy models. I'm glad we have the new Heavy. Pact Destruction, the Warpsmith only. When it uses the Dark Pact, it can reroll the leadership roll. In the shooting phase, when it's shot, if it uses the Dark Pact, if those attacks destroy an enemy, this heals 3 wounds. Pretty good. For a command point in your shooting phase, when one of your Havocs or Obliterators shoots, and it uses the Dark Pact ability, you get lethal hits and sustained 1. The Murder Talon Raiders. That is a mouthful. Prey on the Weak. When you're a Heretic Astartes infantry that has the Fly keyword, that attacks that target a battle shocked unit, or a unit that's below half strength, it can reroll hit rolls of 1. So if it's battle shocked or below half strength, basically it's Night Lord's thing. It's supposed to be kind of like thematic with fear, kinda, I'd have to assume. But when an enemy unit attacks when your infantry flies, if they are battle shocked or below half strength, that is -1 to the hit roll. As the Nightmare tag can't be taken with a Nightmare. The Chaos Lord Jump Pack for Shadow Call Talisman has a 5-up invuln save. Pretty decent. Plunging Talons for a command point. In the fight phase, when one of your flying infantry makes a charge move, they have Lance. Pretty decent. I haven't seen a lot of things that have Lance, but Lance is pretty good. Cavalcade of Chaos, Unholy Avalanche. If pretty much if you have bloodletters on the mounts, I think that's really the only one there is that counts as legions, demon legions that are mounted. If they make a fallback move, it doesn't mean they can't shoot or charge. So they can move around, do stuff pretty good. Soul Shattering Charge, if any of those units select to fight, it's made a charge move this turn. You can use this ability if you do. Determine which. Okay, so your model's within 3 inches of engage. Hold on. Oh, I'm dumb. I was overcomplicating things. I think what this is trying to say is you're engaged if you're within 3 inches of the enemy unit. Engagement range is 2 inches, I'm pretty sure. So you just get an extra inch of engagement range. That's pretty nice. Warp Riders, for 1 command point in your movement phase, when you're mounted units, they have the mobile keyword. This is essentially the thing that Titans do, where you can just like walk through terrain. So it's pretty good. Lords of the Warp, Loci of Power, Demon Legion characters that aren't monsters have 1 leadership and one +1 OC. Good. Swarm of Power, Demon Legion characters that aren't models, they get +2 wounds. Carnival of Excess, for a command point in your fight phase. When an enemy unit has fought one of your Slanesh characters that is not a monster and hasn't fought yet, they get fights first. It must be the next unit you select to fight. That doesn't do much. Warp Tide. Shutter Blink. When one of your Demon Legion battle line makes an advanced move, they have Assault until the end of the turn, which means they can still charge. Baneforge Weapons and your Demon Legion battle line, it has +1 strength to their data sheet. And for a command point, Demonic Infestation, in your command phase, one of your Demon Legion battle line that isn't Pink Horrors, they can heal 3 wounds. It's alright. It's alright. Custodes. Might of Moritoi. March of the Honor Dead. Walker units, which I think is only the Dread they have, which I think they're getting plastic kits. I don't remember. They get +2 to their movement. They have +1 to advance and charge rolls. It has the armory tag. Can be taken another armory detachment. Armite Sarcophagus. Yeah, this is the Dread. You can use Crushing Impact Stratagem for 1 less command point. So essentially, you're getting this for free if you take this upgrade. After your charge phase, just after a monster vehicle and a charge move, the effect resolves in this sequence. You choose 1 enemy that is engaged with your unit. Select 1 model in your unit engaged with the enemy unit. So you pick 1 from each. Roll a number of d6 equal to the toughness characteristic of that model. Your unit suffers 1 mortal wound for every 5 up that enemy unit suffers. Wait. Okay. D6 has to be equal to the toughness. No, wait. No, it's just for each one you suffer a mortal wound. For every 5 up, the enemy suffers a mortal wound to a maximum of 6. I was overcomplicating that. And also, for a command point, your Telemon Heavy Dread, that's what it's called. When that can shoot, the Storm Cannon has Rapid Fire 6, and the Illustrious Accelerator Culverin has Rapid Fire 2. That's a lot. Silent Hunters. When a friendly Sister of Silence, I'm pretty sure that's just the fancy name for them. When they make an advanced move, that advanced move doesn't prevent them from starting an action. And they get Ceaseless Vigilance in your shooting phase. This unit can select 1 visible enemy within 12 inch, that is nulled. When it is nulled, it has +3 detection range to it. Psych out grenades. Speak. Sisters of Silence, they have the explosive keyword. Uh, when you target this unit with the explosive stratagem, if you select an enemy psyker unit, you can reroll rolls to determine whether that enemy unit suffers a mortal wound. And they have Synchronized Inferno for command point in your shooting phase. When one of your Witch Seekers shoots, they get Torrent, and it has Blast 1. Toy Hammer Blow. The hammer falls. If a friendly Adeptus Custodes Terminator makes an ingress move, it can reroll charge rolls, has the Lion's tag, cannot be taken with another Lion's attachment. Nemo Locked Shrine Cipher. Custodes Terminators can make an ingress move in your first movement phase. Alright. Hardened Resolve for command point. In your punching phase or the fight phase, when an enemy unit targets one of your Custodes Terminators, you get +1 toughness. It is Armor of Contempt, but for the Custodes. They didn't need it much anyways. Death Guard, Contagion Engines, Warped and Rusted Ammonus, for your Bloat Drones, Hellbrutes, Blight Haulers, and Blight Launchers. They have Contagion Engine. Contagion Engines have the Assault keyword. Also has the Engines tag and cannot be taken with another Engines detachment. Parasitic Woe Reaper. Contagion Engines. When it is fought, one model heals D3 wounds. Bloodrust Deluge for a command point in your shooting phase. When one of your Contagion Engine shoots one visible enemy that is afflicted until your unit has attacked. I'm assuming afflicted is just a Death Guard thing that I'm not sure of. Flyblown Host. Verminous Haze. In your declare battle formations, you can set up 2 friendly Plague Marine units. They have Infiltrators. Has Flyblown tag, cannot be taken with their Flyblown detachment. Insectile Murmuration. Plague Marines, when this attacks unit within contagion range, which is essentially their aura ability they always have, you can reroll wound rolls of 1. Either Swarm for command point in your shooting phase. When your Plague Marines, their range attacks have close quarters. Close quarters is the new pistol keyword. I don't think there's anything different with it. Paragons of Putrescence. Hyper-virulent strains. Death Guard characters have +3 to their contagion range to a maximum of 12. So you can have 4 Death Guard characters upping their contagion range by 3. Host of Hybridized Pox. When your Death Guard infantry, once per battle in your command phase, you can use this if you do select one of the plagues listed in Nurgle's Gift. See the Codex. Enemy units with a contagion range of this also have the effect of that plague, plus your chosen plague until the end of the battle. Agravus Spasms for command point in your shooting phase when your Death Guard characters. In a visible enemy unit within contagion range has +6 detection range to it. Votan. Armored Trailblazers. Sagittarius Spearhead. Sagittarius have Scout 6. And Sagittarius has Mobile. What? Right. Outflanking Armor for command point. At the end of your opponent's movement phase, from the second battle round onward, you can take up to 2 Sagittarius units in your strategic reserve and make an ingress move with them. Hold on, let me read what this says. Alright, that's just like a core rule thing. It's talking about the different kinds of terrains, but doesn't specify much. But that's not important right now. Far Seekers, Eye of the Hunt, uh, Hirnkin units that target a unit within 12 inches. They have +1 to their hit roll. Panspectral lock-ons, Pioneers in your shooting phase can select one visible enemy within 12 inches. It is spotted. While it's spotted, it has +3 detection range. Scornful Analysis for a command point. Start your shooting phase when you're hearing kin units. Select a visible unit within 12 inches. Friendly leaks of Votan units attack that target. Okay, so if your Hernkin units are within 12 inches and they can see that, your other Leagues of Votan units can shoot it and they have ignores cover. Hearthguard Covenant, Avatars of Ancestors, Call, Einhir Champion, Einhir Hearthguard, and Uthar the Destined units. Your range attacks, the target within 9 inches can reroll wound rolls of 1. Has the Hearthguard tag, can be taken to the Hearthguard detachment. I call only in your fight phase. When a model in this unit is destroyed, if this unit has not been selected to fight this phase, roll 1d6 on a 4-up, but don't remove that model from the battlefield. At the first unit's fought or the end of the phase, whichever comes first, that model is removed from the battlefield. It is the only death does duty end, I think. It's like the Hellblaster's ability. Or like if they die and you roll like a 4-up, I think, they stay until the end of the round and they can still shoot, then they die. But Fury of the Hearth for a command point, your shooting phase, when your Einhir Hearthguard shoots, they have +1 strength, and if you spend 1, I don't know what that is. That is a Votan specific thing. If you spend 1 of that, you get sustained 1. Admech, Cohort Aquistius, New Sphere Recon, Patraxi, Infiltrators, Rangers, Cerberus Raiders, Cerberus Sulfur Hounds. Have Recon Augury. Things the Recon Augury have enhanced augurs. In your shooting phase, this unit can select one visible unit within 12 inches. The enemy unit is analyzed. Gets +3 detection range. They're making new names to give them all the same ability, which I guess, yeah, all armies should probably have something like that. But just like, don't stick it behind a detachment all the time. Stealth screens, cyber canids, Cerberus Raiders. They have lone op. They have lone op with 15 inches. Defect scrutiny for command point in your shooting phase. When your ad mech select shoot, select one visible enemy unit within 12 inches of someone who has recon augury, and they have ignores cover. Where's the Forge? War for Mantles. Tech Priest models have 4-up invuln and saves and 5-up feel no pains. That is pretty good, though. That is pretty good. Tech Priest models have Baffling Data Screed in your shooting phase. When this unit is selected to shoot, this unit is not battle shocked. You can use this ability. If you do, roll 1d6. On a 2-up, select one enemy vehicle within 12 inches of that unit. That has to make a battle shock roll with -1 to it. Cannot be selected more than once. On a 2-up, those ranged attacks do not prevent this unit from being hidden. Okay. Other enhancement, TL409. It is a ranged weapon. Okay, you can give them a ranged weapon. Tech priest only, with a range of 24, 3 attacks, 2-up ballistic. 11 strength, -2 AP, D3 +2 damage, with dev wounds and hazardous. That's really good, actually. If you can stick that on any tech priest, okay. For a command point, you can use Holy Avarice in your shooting phase, attack Priest. When it starts an action, that action does not prevent you from being eligible to shoot. Lumion Auto Choir, Cyber Static Canticles. Friendly Corpuscari units range attacks have lethals. When a friendly full great unit has fought, it heals D3 wounds, has data psalm, can't use no data psalm detachment. Voltageist Reliquary, data tech priests have snaps that have not tech priest model only. Enemy units cannot target this unit with snapshotting attacks. They cannot be hit with Overwatch. Momentum feedback for a command point. In your punching phase, when an enemy unit that targets friendly unengaged electro priests, they can make a surge move of up to D6. That's pretty good because electro priests on their own aren't wonderful. Necrons, Hand of the Dynasty, Hyper Motility Protocols. Immortals and Warriors, their range attacks have Assault. They can also make an advance move, which does not prevent them from being eligible to do an action. As the Dynasty tag, can't be used with a Dynasty attachment. Tools Dominions, Immortals, they have Rapid Fire 1. Nano Saturation for command point. Your opponent's shooting phase, when an enemy unit has that targeted one of the Immortals or Warriors, that Immortal or Warrior unit can use Overwatch, but it can only target the unit that shot you. Sky Shroud Spearhead. This is for the Tomb Blades, but I've never seen anyone use Tomb Blades either. I don't even think they sell those in the store. Transdimensional Deployment. Tomb Blades have Deep Strike. If it is selected to shoot, that unit made an ingress move. If it made an ingress move and it shoots, it has +1 to hit rolls. Deepening Madness, Destroyer Cult mounted units, they have assaults. Evasive Protocols for command point, your opponent shooting phase, when they target one of your Necron mounted units. Range attacks that target you with a strength greater than your toughness has -1 to wound. Pharaon's Armory, Powered Engines, Necron Titanic Flyers, which I think the only one is the Void Dragon. I might be wrong. Has +6 to the move. Has Hypercrypt, can't use their Hypercrypt attachment. Prelocation Optimizer, Necrons, if they shoot, if it was set up using a monolith, the turn negate ability, it has lethal hits or sustain 1. Okay. Subsurface Quantum Weave for command point. Your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase when an enemy unit targets one of your Titanic Fly, -1 AP to that unit. Both Knights. Dominus Foe Breakers. Reign of Devastation. Imperial Knight Dominus units that target a unit in a terrain area have +1 to hit rolls. So it essentially gets rid of benefit of cover. Imperial Knight Dominus, they have +1 toughness if you take that. For command point, your shooting phase, when you're engaged, Knight Dominus shoots, you get blast, or you can not take blast. No, wait. No, if it has blast, it doesn't have blast anymore, and it has +1 attack. Okay. The Questor Forge Pact, Cogbound Alliance, Friendly Imperial Knights have assisted targeting, which is an aura ability. Friendly AdMech unit within 6 inches of the model has +1 ballistic skill and heavy. Friendly Tech Priests have Sacrosanct Pledge. Your command phase, you can select one Friendly Imperial Knight within 3 inches of the Tech Priest. That has not been selected with this ability this phase. If you do, heal D3 wounds. Mechanicus allies, you can include Tech Priest Dominus, Manipulus, Marshal, Rangers, and Vanguard. Magos Questoris, the Tech Priests, using the Sacristan Pledge, heals 2 additional wounds. Okay. So it's just more healing if you put that on one of them. In any phase, when one of your knights is destroyed, that enemy unit that destroys is marked. Marked units can have the wound rolls against them rerolled. Throne bonded outriders, driven from their lairs. When an armiger is affected by a bondsman ability, that unit's ranged attack has ignore cover, as armiger tag can't use another armiger detachment. Ancestral Overbleed, armigers only. When you're targeted with Fire Overwatch or Heroic Intervention, it is less. When you use Fire Overwatch or Heroic Intervention, it costs 1 less command point. Which I don't know why they still call it Fire Overwatch here, but not in the other ones. But Neurolash for a command point in your command phase when your knights. That is Titanic. You can select a Battle Shocked Armiger within 12 inches, and it's no longer Battle Shocked. Chaos Knights with Bastions of Tyranny have Annihilate the Unworthy. Knight Tyrant units can target Battle Shocked unit that have +1 to the hit roll. Hate-Filled Dominion. Knight Tyrants, they can reroll rolls to the amount of attacks they have for some weapons. Pitiless Focus for command point in your movement phase. When a Knight Tyrant makes a fallback, does not prevent it from being eligible to shoot. Hunting Warpack, sending Fear. Once per battle round per army in your shooting phase, select one visible enemy unit within 12 inches of one of your War Dogs and has +6 detachment range. War Dogs, key tag, can't take another detachment with that. Snarling Rivalry, Executioner only, ignores cover for its range attacks. Insensate Bloodthirst for a command point in your fight phase when an enemy unit targets a friendly War Dog, you have Feel No Pain 5-up. Iconoclast, Fiefdom, Wretched Thralls, you can include damn units in your army. Friendly damn units can reroll leadership rolls. Iconoclast Idol gives aura. Knights only. When a friendly damned unit is within 6 inches of the model, you can target that unit with Heroic Intervention for 1 less command point. Dark Sacrifice for command point when you're friendly damned, excluding the Accursed Cultist within 9 inches of friendly Chaos Knight. One of the Chaos Knights within 9 inches of that damned unit, roll d3 +3. Your damned unit suffers that number of mortal wounds, but the Chaos Knight heals that number of wounds. So you're getting rid of your little squishy guys to heal up your big knight. We have Adeptus Sororitas, Course of Condemnation, Angelic Judgment. For each flying infantry, you have Condemnatory Psalms. In shooting phase, unit can select one. It's another one of these. It just gives +3 detection range within 12 inches. The Candace with Jump Pack at the end of your opponent's fight phase. If it's unengaged, you can place this in strategic reserves. Harmonized Exorcism for a command point. Your shooting phase when a friendly exorcist unit shoots. Select one visible unit within 9 inches of a friendly infantry flying. It has +1 to hit roll. Sacred Champions. Holy Quest. Celestine Sacrosanct units have +1 ballistic and wound skill, weapon skill. Has a Reverend tag, can't use another Reverend detachment. Rite of Compunction. The Celestine Sacrosancts have +1 objective control. For commandment, you use Faithful Fortitude. Any phase, when one of your Celestine Sacrosancts suffers a mortal wound, you can use. It gets Feel No Pain 5-up and gets more wounds till the end of the phase. Sanctified Orators, Hymns of Battle. Enhancements selected from this attachment do not count towards the total numbers of enhancement in your army. Friendly sororitas characters have +1 leadership. Hegemon effects. 1 year sororitas characters, that is a penitent unit. Once per turn, per unit. Start phase, you can use this. Select one of the abilities, Rites of Revelation. Gives you +6 detection range when shooting. Sermon of Intolerance. You automatically succeed battle shock rolls. Probably the best one. Catechism of Raging Fervor has +1 to the movement. Psalm of Righteous Smiting has +1 strength. Course of Reputation. I don't even care that I said that wrong. Attacks that target this unit with strength or toughness have -1 to the wound roll. There's more stuff to talk about. I'm not going to in this video. It's already over an hour long. I'm just going to make another video sometime. But hopefully you watched some of this video. Like and subscribe. I know I just read a lot of things, but a lot of those were just the same thing, copy and pasted over and over and over. And it gets not exactly boring, but also like I'm learning things as I do this video, because I just look up like the new stuff and then I do it all in the video. But I've been Crux Terminatus. This has been all of Faction Focus, and I will see you next time.